Hi guys, it's me, the Unfiltered 7. I come before you today a very humble man. This is not easy for me to come on camera and talk very candidly with you. Over the last couple months, had a lot of things happen in my life, and unfortunately at this point I don't have the heart for Madden anymore. I've had some injuries. I've actually had some paper cuts to my fingers. I feel like that I'm starting to really see the beginnings of arthritis within my thumbs. And it just hasn't become a fun game for me anymore. This is not easy for me. As you all know, I've been playing Madden since I was a little kid. But it's with great sadness that I have to come before you today and retire. That's right, I'm going to retire. Everyone knows me, everyone knows how competitive I am, but my heart is just not in the game. My family and friends, I love you. Soden, thank you for giving me the opportunity to help you run this league. So yeah. Psych! What's up, everybody? It's Alpha. You like my little intro? Anyway, I have to say this. This was not a jab at Andrew Luck. I know this is the timing was actually, it kind of like, you know, sparked a idea, but it was definitely not jab at him. I really love Andrew Luck. I love watching him play. Had him in fantasy football a couple years. Very sad for me to see him retire because Colts is a team that I rooted for. Injuries and everything, he couldn't do it anymore, and I respect that. Someone that's 29 years old, he walks away from the game that he just doesn't have the heart for anymore. And one can blame the Colts management for never having a line to protect him, and now that they do, he can't stay healthy. So definitely I have to say that before everybody gets their panties in a wad. I was not making fun of Andrew Luck. It was more making fun of the retirement speech thing. I mean, most people like talking about retirement and all this. So anyway, with that being said, welcome to the new season of Unfiltered. With new season comes new ideas and new shows and new formats and new pictures and new music and new backgrounds and all that stuff, right? Well, some of that stuff is not done yet, so I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress. I did actually get some cool stuff, a microphone. I've got a pop filter for it, so hopefully it sounds better than in years past. I love doing this show for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to try and make as many as I can. My wife's pregnant. She's due in December, so we got a lot of things going on in life, but I will try to do this as much as I can, as often as I can. And if you guys have ideas for shows or segments, shoot them my way. Be like, dude, you should do a segment on, like, what kind of beers you like, or the new Chick-fil-A sandwich versus Popeyes, whatever. Just tell me, man. I'll do a segment on it, if it's within reason. You guys know I love exposing myself. Not that exposing myself. I probably get arrested for exposing myself like that. I've exposed myself like that when I was younger, and I did get arrested for that, for urinating in public. But that was a long time ago. But no, exposing my personality, exposing the demented mind of Mumford, as you will. But Alpha's takes and all this stuff. So hopefully you guys like my little lighthearted comedy. I don't get paid for this, so it's more of like entertainment value for myself as well. So I hope you like the format. I changed the graphics up a little bit. We're gonna do 5 segments per show, as you can see to the right there, to your left. But hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully you guys get a lot out of this. I'm gonna try to put as many things together as I can and try to make it look nice and pretty and smell like roses. So hopefully, that transitions into better things. I get more creative as I do this longer. Before I begin into the show, I have to show you guys something. So I have this shirt, and it says Dilly effing Dilly. I can't really say it. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on YouTube. But yeah, I was actually, very funny story. I was actually in Canton on my way to the Broncos game, the Hall of Fame game with my pregnant wife, who I love. Can't believe that she went to that with me. But we went to the Hall of Fame game, and we actually got some pretty good seats. As you know, if you guys did watch, like we're in the Soden Bowl Discord, I did post some funny drunk videos. If you're not in Soden Bowl Discord, get in there, even if you don't want to be in the league, man. I got Bryce from the Void and some other guys in there. We just have fun, man. We try not to be too sensitive. We try to joke around and have a good time. I mean, all this is pastime. Getting back to my story, because I like to drift off a little bit. So I was walking to the stadium with my wife, and this dude, he was such an awesome, he was like a street hustler. He walks up, he's like, hey man, he's like, this shirt is perfect for you. He's like, you know, saw as a Broncos fan, had the hat, had the shirt. I was like, man, I'd love to buy it. I don't have any cash. He's like, guess what? Whips out a credit card reader. So I had no choice but to buy this shirt, and now I'm wearing it. And that guy is probably off in the Bahamas with my credit card number, getting hookers and cocaine. So good for you, street hustler. I hope you enjoy my credit card number. So with that being said, no more credit card number, hookers, or cocaine. We are going into the preseason picks. That's right. Drum roll, please. Who am I picking for the picks, or the Soden Bowl Super Bowl? Who's going to win it season 1? I know it's not really preseason. We're in week 3. We waited for the big patch. We were patient and confident, and then it paid off because EA gave us a great patch that gave us offensive line superstar abilities and some other cool stuff. I'm sorry for the leagues that did not start or did not wait to start. That's you know, I'm not rubbing it in. I actually got my moment of vindication on Twitter for some unknown people, but most of you already know that I like to take jabs at time. Most of the time it's just lighthearted, but anyway, with that being said, I'm kind of going off base here. Preseason picks. Who do I think is going to represent the AFC, then the NFC, then who do I think is going to win the Super Bowl? I'm going to give you my final four. That's right. I'm going to give you my 2 AFC teams, my 2 NFC teams. Then I'm going to tell you who's going to win that game and then the Super Bowl. So let's get into it. AFC. Again, some guys are 2-0, some guys are 1-1, some guys are 0-2. So it's really hard at this point. I really think that from the top to the bottom, anybody could beat anybody at any time. It just feels that way with this league. These guys are really good. I think this is probably some of the best users that we've had in Soden Bowl since I've been here, as far as talent, just from top to bottom. So let's go into my best pick. I think this team is going to represent one half of the AFC. That is the New York Jets. That's right, Javel, 7, and the New York Jets. And if you watched the Soden Bowl team draft, Javel was pick number 32. And guess what team fell to him? That's right, the New York Jets. Javel is an amazing owner. One of the best owners in Soden Bowl. And actually, I played him, and he just dismantled me. You know, obviously I had some bad breaks and stuff, but I'm not taking anything away. He just beat my tail end, beat it bad. I hope to some point to have a rematch because that's what's really cool about this. I get beat. I'm 0-2 right now. I know, right? 0-2, but what really drives me is trying to get better, making a playbook that fits my style, my team, and trying to develop my players and trying to really get the gel going and getting better at the game. So that's what's really driving me right now. But enough about me, right? Because I'm not picking myself. So Javel and the Jets are going to be one of the teams in the divisional or the conference championship. The other team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Kylo Ren. That's right, Kylo Ren, come on down. But really, Kylo Ren last Madden just completely dominated everybody. Actually was in a Super Bowl, I think the last 2 Super Bowls, or was in close to both of them. But Javel is God, man, Javel's on my mind. Anyway, Kylo Ren, back to him. Jacksonville Jaguars, they have throttled both their opponents, and while some guys that were good at last Madden doesn't translate so far into this Madden, That's not the case for Kylo. Kylo has been taking the torch that he left himself at Madden 19 and has taken it to Madden 20. He is awesome. He has won both his games, both by a very wide margin. And he's got a great defense, and he's starting to build that team. He's got some contracts he can't re-sign, so he did trade some guys off. I think he's going to be in the championship, man. I think it's going to be him and the Jets, which is interesting because he traded Yannick to the Jets. So let's see if there can be some stuff there. In the NFC, this was harder for me. I really thought there was a lot of good teams in NFC, and I thought, man, who could win the NFC? It could be a team that's 1-1 and 0-2 right now. I mean, it's like there's a lot of good owners. Had to go with the first team, and that's Shanks, the Carolina Panthers. Shanks, if you don't know, was actually in the NBL tournament, and he actually won like 3 games. He went pretty far into the tournament, which kind of set him up for what is right now a really good season thus far. He's 2-0. He's got a great offense. He's really been able to utilize Newton, McCaffrey, and some of those receivers. Doing really well with Curtis Samuel. Defense, he's doing great too. He completely shut down the Rams. He just has a really good team. So it's going to be very difficult, I think, for another team to dethrone him. So I think he's definitely going to be one of my picks in the NFC. Other team, the fourth team in this puzzle, the missing piece to this puzzle that's going to go to the Super Bowl for my way too early picks. San Francisco 49ers. That's right, Swing and the San Francisco 49ers, 2-0 right now. Swing, actually, I don't think he was the best player last Madden. This Madden, he looks completely different. He's been working on things, and I think he's really got it down. I think this man really suits his game style better, and he just plays really well on both sides of the ball, and he can run or pass. I think that Swing could be one of the dark horses to win the entire Super Bowl. I don't think a lot of guys would pick that if they were to be asked, but I think Swing has got a good team, and he's got a good user base around it, and I think he just knows how to use these 49ers as his favorite team. So, which is really cool that he was able to get them, but able to utilize them the way that they need to be utilized. So, with that, those are the 4 teams that I think are going to win. Now, let's go to the AFC. Let's go back there. We have Kylo Ren, the Jaguars, and Javale, the New York Jets. Who do I think is going to win that game? I had the experience, obviously, of playing Javale again. I'm not salty. But Javale is really good. Kylo's really good. I think that they really are close when it comes to user skills. However, when it comes down to it, I think what's going to be the difference is the 2 teams, the 2 overalls. I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be representing the AFC in your 2020 Soden Bowl Super Bowl. That's right. Why do I feel that way? Well, it comes down to what I just said. I think it's really come down to the team. I think that the Jets have traded a couple pieces because they're in rebuild mode. Javale has gotten some good picks to be able to build for the future, but I do think that when it comes down to it, Javale is actually, it's kind of hampering him that he has got the Jets team, which is kind of a lower rated team. I think they got good pieces, but I don't think they're quite ready yet. And when you got a user like Kylo and that smothering defense of the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think it's really hard to get past that. So that's my pick for the AFC. NFC, we got Shanks, the Carolina Panthers, and we got Swing, the 49ers. 2 great owners, 2 pretty good teams, but again, I have to go with the 2 teams. When you have 2 really good owners, you have to really look at the teams. And you got to look at their overalls, you got to look at the weapons and all that. I just think that offense of Carolina is going to be too much for Swing, and I think that the Carolina Panthers are going to go to the Super Bowl. So I think it's going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Carolina Panthers in this season's Super Bowl. So that actually puts up a really good matchup because both guys are really good and both teams are really good. So this was really tough for me. At the end of the day, though, I just think that Kylo gets it done. I think Kylo wins this year's Super Bowl. Not to be a homer, I know that's not a hard choice because he's been in these championship games. If you watch him play, I know it's silly to think that, there's not pressure when you're in a playoff. It's a video game. But I'm telling you, I've been in these playoffs, and there's pressure. You don't want to lose. You want to keep going. And, I mean, you cuss, you yell, your TV, if you're anything like me. You, knock stuff over. But, seriously, there's pressure. And Kylo just seems to never fold under pressure. I just think that he's got the better team and the better defense. I think that he's got enough to slow down that Carolina Panthers potent offense. So there is my pick for your 2020 Soden Bowl Super Bowl. So let's talk about hot takes. Yes, one of the most popular segments on my last season's show was Alpha's Hot Take, because normally what I did was I went in on somebody's ass and I ripped them a new one. So this year, first episode, who am I going to rip into? What person in the community or even in our league am I going to rip into? Okay, so this was really tough for me too, because we just started the league. I don't have any enemies out there. I do have some enemies out there, but I don't have anybody that I'm really mad, right? So I really, just kind of seeing things, the way that things transponded today, everything seems to be going pretty good with the league. However, there is one thing that I want to talk to you all about. Come here. Let's sit down. Let's sit down. Sit right there. That's right there. Guys, two things that I want to talk about. And I feel like I went over this part of it last year. Rules. Guys, if you don't know the rules, or there's a question about it, save the rules on the Soden Bowl website to your favorites. Go there and read them. Read up on them. And I'm not trying to be sarcastic. Read them, because I actually had to go over and read them myself, and I helped create them. So read them. They're there for a reason. Guys, big things that I want to talk about. EA was thoughtful and thankful enough to take out previous play. So now we can't see previous play on both sides of the ball. So we can't tell what you're running. That's why we're having guys both sides stream. But do not abuse plays. If you are, again, come here. If you are using Madden ebooks, beat it. Get out of here. Just leave. We don't want you here. I promise you, we will find out and you will be gone. It's that simple. Okay? We love the competition. We love the sim community, but we will not allow cheese balls into our league. They will be gone very quickly. And we'll figure it out. You will not get a warning. You will be gone. With that being said, another thing I want to go over with you guys is the roaming rule. We are a little bit more relaxed with it this year because of the way the EA took out the super linebackers, but we still want you in the vicinity of your coverage. If you're playing man, you are on that receiver or running back, okay? If your running back is set to blitz, then you can go after the quarterback, or then at that point you can go after someone else, okay? Those are the rules with man coverage. With zone coverage, if you're playing a middle vertical, that's your little drop, right? Well, you can go off here. You can go off here. You can go outside of it, okay? If somebody goes into your zone, you're allowed to cover him. You have to stay on him. You cannot cover another player. That is it, okay? So I want that to be specific enough for you guys, so you can't say, I didn't see it in the rules. Where did you put that in the rules? Did you just put it in this year? I didn't see the rules. I didn't see it. Oh, that ain't a part of the rules. It's a part of the rules. It's there. We didn't edit it just to make you look silly in the chat. Read the rules, okay? It's really not hard. You just play sim. If you see it on Sunday, just, that's really it. The last part of the rule thing, okay? EA, you guys are so great, was thoughtful enough to take out the one cut. So now, guess what's back, guys? Everyone's favorite, the zigzag. That's right, where your guy can just cut on a dime and he can just run all around, right? Without any type of cut. So, if you are running up, and college, I have to give you credit for this. You actually kind of simplified this. No 90 degrees on the stick, okay? So, if you're running this way, don't cut back real quick, because he just cuts real fast. Use a special move to get out of the way, right? And guys, this is not a rule, but come on. The excessive hit sticks, get off get off of it, okay? Use the tackling, all right? Don't be a chode and try to hit stick the crap out of everybody, because I'm going to laugh when you have that misanimation and the guy runs back and he does a little, one arm, stroke at you. So, guys, don't overuse the hit stick. I know it's not a rule, but don't be a chode. You're being a chode if you're overusing the hit stick. I'm telling you right now, I don't care what you think, you're a chode. If you're not overusing the hit stick, then you're not a chode. The second part of this is scheduling. Guys, we just had an issue today with two admins. Try to get your game in as soon as possible, okay? Try to dial in a time. If I say, hey, Joe, this is my schedule. Joe comes back and goes, okay, I can play at 10:30. Confirm it, okay? Two guys confirm it. So what you're saying is, so we're playing at 10:30, right? Yep. Let me go and put it in the schedule chat so everybody knows, okay? That makes our lives a lot easier. You may not care about our lives being easier, but guess what? We do, and we want to be able to know when we can advance, when all the games are scheduled. In a perfect world, everybody would just schedule their games, put it in the chat, play on time, do everything sim, and we wouldn't even have to have rules. We could just be like, God, did you see that game? That was such a great game. They played on time. The sim call was great. They didn't abuse any type of plays with Madden. No ebooks, no nothing. But that's not the reality. We don't live in that perfect world, okay? So guys, please make our lives easier. Schedule in the schedule chat, okay? If you know that advances at 10:30 and we just announced it, get a hold of your opponent then, okay? It's better to just get a hold of and have that dialogue, all right? Put it in the scheduling chat. That's it, okay? I don't want to be that guy that rips your ass over silly things, okay? I don't want to be that guy. I don't. So, with that being said, these are my way too early MVP picks. That's right, my way too early. It's only week 2, but it's not too soon to talk about the MVPs or the MVP race in the Soden Bowl. That's right, we are going to talk MVP. You, the real MVP. So, looking over the stats, there was a lot of guys so far that are just coming through, man, and they are just doing awesome. One guy in particular that is very surprising is Andy Dalton. That's right, Andrew P. Dalton, the quarterback, the Red Rifle, the Red Rocket from the Cincinnati Bengals. That's right, he has thrown for 9 touchdowns, 883 yards. Second closest to him is Patrick Mahomes with 670 yards and 5 touchdowns. So Andy Dalton is really getting it done right now, and he just looks amazing. Booker really has that offense going. He's done well with AJ Green, but he's got weapons on the field with Mixon, Green, John Ross, and Tyler Boyd. So and then Eifert. So he's actually who I think could win the MVP race. On the other side of the ball, I think Joey Bosa could win it as well. He's got 10 sacks. 10 sacks. 2 games, 10 sacks. 5 sacks a game. Are we going to have to mess with sliders? Just kidding. Obviously, that number's going to go down. You know, he's going to have a bad game, or he's going to get hurt, he's going to pull a hammy. Witness is just going to sit him and be nice and just let everyone else rush the quarterback and just spread the wealth. No. But I still think he's going to slow down a bit. But, you know, with that being said, I think Andy Dalton, if Booker can keep his offense going, and his defense is playing like poo-poo. So, with that being said, I think that he has a good shot, and he is my early MVP candidate. I think he's going to win, not just because he's number 1 in stats right now. I just think that Andy Dalton right now, with that offense, they're playing catch-up, and they're, like, having to sling the ball around. I think he's going to have a great year. And Booker's a good passer. He knows what he's doing. I just think that he's really one of those users that can really take advantage of the weapons around him. So, with that being said, that's who my 2020 MVP pick for the Soden Bowl is going to be. the last subject, my final thoughts. It's kind of like the Full House, you know, where they give DJ sneaks out and gets pounded by her boyfriend and comes home late, and Danny Tanner comes home and says, look, you can't get pounded in the middle of the night with that music rolling. It's like, look, make him wear the rubbers. Just kidding. I know that's a little bit TMI, but my mind kind of works that way. And it's unfiltered. You know this. You know, watching this, that I can say whatever I want and I can be off the wall, okay? But with that being said, my final thoughts. I want to talk about Madden in general and the game and where I think it's going. I have to say I'm very pleased with this year's game. This year's game is probably one of my favorite games that I've ever played. I am 0-2 in Soden Bowl, but I'm having a great time. I do think that the running, I think the blocking is, you know, and again, it just could be my team, but I think running's really easy. I think that the sack, I think if you know what you're doing and you watch for those players, I think you can get by with quick passes and play calling. I don't think it's OP or anything. I think that the defensive zone needs a little work because cover 2 doesn't work, cover 3 doesn't work that well. I know they toned it down a little bit, but they've got to have a little bit better coverage. If I've got a guy that's a 90 zone, he should be able to know exactly where he's going and be able to play that well. I think that's one of the spots they need to kind of patch. But if you're not going to patch anything else, don't do it because you got a great game right now. Do not ruin what you have. Love the addition of the X Factor, not the X Factors, but the superstar abilities for the offensive linemen. I think that's a great way to combat these great pass rushers on defense. So, Madden, you guys have done a great job. I tip my hat to you. I think you've done a great job for us. Send guys, the only thing I will tell you is we would love to have previous playback. That's right, Clint. If you're bored and you're watching this because you have nothing else on YouTube to watch and you're watching me right now, please add in previous play because that would be great. Because I think that at the end of the day, we want that back in the game because it helps us, some guys, monitor, you know, especially the commissions and admins, monitor, you know, what they're doing and are they running excessive plays. But with that said, this is such a great game, guys. Great game. This is such a great game. So I think we're going to have fun with it. Those are my final thoughts as far as Madden goes. As far as my final thought with Soden Bowl itself, I think we're going to have a great season. I'm excited. We got a bunch of shows. I know Kylo and Shanks have got a podcast. I know there's a couple other ones. I think Reverse actually has one that is called The Hammer where he does stuff with gameplay. I love that show. And I think Soden and I have a couple things up our sleeve. So with that being said, thanks everybody for the support. Thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, please give us a subscribe and a like. After I butcher, subscribe and a like. That really does help us grow the channel. Tell your friends about us. Join our Discord. Our Discord, we really do like having a bunch of people in there. We do have a pretty good waiting list. But if you get in there and you're chatting away and you want to be a part of this community, I think it's a good time. I think you should jump on board. We are for Xbox One solely, and we are just happy to have guys. We want to do content. We want to make this fun. We have our own little rules. And the greatest thing about Soden Bowl, we all have our personalities. You will see two guys go at it, and then a couple minutes later, everything's cool with them. It's just a great community. You know, Shanks blows up my DM with who he thinks is a chode or whatever, but makes everything fun. So, guys, thank you for watching, and I'm blessed. Actually, you're blessed. Just kidding, you're blessed. That's pretty cool. Anyway, have a great day, and thanks for watching.